The industry that I started in, it was not focused on supporting founders and entrepreneurs. The sign of success was going and winning a big client like British Petroleum or KPMG. They literally left me cold. All that red tape, all that corporate jargon. I remember I started working for entrepreneurs. It sounds so cheesy, but I felt like I'd come home. Oh, these are my people.
Jo Dalton, serial founder, investor. She's worked with over 600 fast growth startups from Deliveroo to Trip Drinks and is a fierce champion of female founders and underrepresented talent in tech.
I always say the best people just cover themselves in Velcro and all the best talent will stick to them. If you're going to scale a business in the UK, you've got to be a talent magnet. If nobody's going to work for you, you're not going to get anywhere.
Welcome to Screw It, Just Do It, the show for those who decided to screw it and just did it. I'm Alex Chisnall, host of this podcast and co-founder of the Festival of Entrepreneurs at the NEC in Birmingham this October 8th and 9th. This is the podcast that brings you face-to-face with the entrepreneurs and business rebels who threw caution to the wind and built something extraordinary. Quick heads up, registration is now open for this year's Festival of Entrepreneurs. Join us at the NEC in Birmingham on October the 8th and 9th for 2 game-changing days with 200 plus speakers and thousands of ambitious founders. Get your free limited 2-day pass at festivalofentrepreneurs.co.uk or click my personal link in the show notes.
Jo, welcome.
Thank you for having me, Alex.
Absolute pleasure. So I want to kick things off with the moment that you said to yourself, screw it, I'm going to go out and build something on my own. Can you talk us through that? When was it and what happened next?
Yes, I remember it vividly. I'd just come out of, actually, I did build something with some co-founders, but for me, the moment that I realised that this is down to me, I have a very clear vision of what I want to build, was the start of JD & Co. and the journey from there. I just realised that I think when you talk about entrepreneurship, it was just the moment I realized that what I wanted to do didn't exist. And so I had to build it myself. Some say that entrepreneurs are unemployable. So maybe it was that I was just unemployable. So I had to go and build my own company that would employ me.
It's always that moment when you kind of you think back and you go, if I had to go and get a job, and then you go, no one would actually employ me anymore. I'm literally unemployable. I couldn't take orders from anybody.
Yeah.
Was there like a defining moment that you can remember when you first had an inkling that you wanted to build something yourself?
Yeah, I think coming from the corporate world and especially the industry that I started in, it was not focused on clients, not focused on supporting founders and entrepreneurs. I was in an environment where the sign of success was going and winning a big client like British Petroleum or KPMG, and nothing against them, but they literally left me cold. All that red tape, all that corporate jargon. And I remember I started working for entrepreneurs, and it sounds so cheesy, but I felt like I'd come home. I was like, oh, these are my people. All these years I've been trying to conform to the corporate world and behave a certain way, but actually there they are. So where is the business and the firm that purely supports founders and entrepreneurs? And I couldn't find it, so I built it myself.
I love that. Do you know what? Until you said that, I've never thought about this. But when I got reeled back in after like leaving again corporate with Virgin Atlantic, and my wife had said, you'll always have an affinity with Virgin. I was there for 17 years and I started my first business, but then I got reeled back in by Virgin Startup. And it was exactly as you said, when I started working there and I started helping founders get funding and mentoring, I literally had that moment and going to like my first live event with just founders or wannabe founders. And I was like, these are the people I've been looking for like 20 or 30 years. It's just like, wow, I hadn't thought of that till you said that, but that was same moment for me, I think. That's so interesting, man.
And I love I love disrupting the status quo. The inner rebel in me came out, and I love nosing into new businesses and thinking about new ways to do things. All the way through school and through life until that point, I was always trying to hack the system. And so I think having the opportunity to be immersed in this world where like minds are all trying to find just a quicker, smarter, better way to do something, and that cuts all the red tape, speaks in simple English, no sort of corporate BS. I was sold.
If you're enjoying this conversation and thinking, I need to be around more people like this, then I've got the perfect solution for you. The Festival of Entrepreneurs is where 5,000 to 10,000 ambitious entrepreneurs come together to learn from the people who've actually done it. It's on October the 8th and 9th at the NEC in Birmingham, and I'm giving my listeners free 2-day passes. Real entrepreneurs, real stories, real strategies. Exactly like what you're hearing right now, but live and in person. Go to festivalofentrepreneurs.co.uk and get your free 2-day pass before they're gone.
Tell us a little bit about JD & Co now then. What do you do? Who do you help? You obviously help entrepreneurs, but can you tell us a little bit about that? Can you remember who the very first client was and how that's the clients that you worked with then are different to who you work with now, if that's changed at all?
Yeah, well, what I'm really proud of what JD & Co do now. Lots of people told me that it couldn't be done. Let's be clear, the recruitment industry has a terrible reputation. I'd rather go to dinner and sit next to, a banker or an estate agent than sit next to a recruiter. That's the sort of level. And the reason for that,
it's a low bar.
It's true. And it is because it's a low bar to entry and that it's a sales environment. And so all of the big recruiters and the industry as a whole, it's a sales-led environment and it works on commission. So they pay everybody, like state agency, a low base salary. And so the incentive is to get clients and fill the roles as quickly as possible so you can move on to the next one. So it's a stack 'em high, spray and pray, whatever they call it. And so I hate those. I hate sales environments. I hate commission. So I thought, can I set up a business that actually just focuses on supporting founders on their entrepreneurial journey, is working with clients I love, that I respect, that I want to, they get me out of bed in the morning because they're projects that I want to work on and solve, and work with a great group of people. And so we don't have a sales environment. We don't have any commission for the team. So everybody that works alongside me, our number one focus is to deliver a great service. We're figuring out how to build the right board to take a founder-led business to the next stage of growth, or we're thinking about what they need to do to get their next round of funding. It's all those big moments. And so sometimes they're really complex and they need trusted advisors. And so we work with those businesses sometimes for years to help them at every stage. And if you're on commission, you just need to get in and get out. And a decade later, it works, and we keep getting recommended, and we keep delivering on the projects that we're given.
And can you name like some of those early clients that you work with? Some of the people might know.
Oh gosh, yes. It's funny because it's such a buzz working with early stage founders that then become big unicorns. So whether it's Shazam when it had 7, 8 people, or going in to try and work with anybody at the team of Instagram. Instagram only had 10 people when we were trying to pull somebody out of there to come to the UK. And then latterly, it's just working with the founders, and it's really hard with what I do because so much I can't talk about because of confidentiality. But yeah, most of the apps on your phone, most of the services, we've been there at the cutting edge. The beginning of mobility, where Halo was around and we were building their first team. And now everybody uses an app to call a black cab or to get an Uber. And so it's a privilege actually to be at the bleeding edge of those sectors that are just starting before they become mainstream.
And what were you doing before? What you said corporate, but what were you doing exactly before? What kind of roles? What kind of companies were you working for?
So I was working for I worked in the city for over a decade in professional services and working in the financial services, and it was pretty dull. I had a uniform. I had my pinstripe suit and my moleskin notepad and my Mont Blanc pen, and it's just we all looked exactly the same, and there was no room for any personality. And then I sold I actually started in my first job in the city as the trainee, and ended up owning a percentage of the company. So that was a really good journey for me, and I'm ever grateful for the founders of that business for all of the training that they gave me. And then I just realized that the corporate world wasn't for me. I had one go at a startup, but working with founders, that I think the lesson I learned was choose your co-founders really wisely. Having worked with over 1,000 founders of businesses since I set up JD & Co, I obsess about that.
1,000. Wow.
Yeah, we've hired over 850 leaders and board members into some of the fastest growing scale ups in Europe, and so I feel very lucky. I'm like my own piece of AI. I've got massive pattern recognition. I can see the ones that are going to fail. I can see the ones that are going to make it, and all of those stages in between.
That conversation just proves something. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So here's my challenge. Upgrade your network. The Festival of Entrepreneurs is happening October the 8th and 9th, and I'm giving my listeners free 2-day passes to get in the room with 5,000 to 10,000 entrepreneurs who are actually building something. This is where the risk takers, the game changers, and the people who've decided to screw it and just do it come for inspiration, education, and connection. Don't just listen to their success stories, go meet the people living them. Grab your free pass now, because the biggest risk isn't taking a chance, it's missing the opportunity entirely. If this conversation resonated with you, don't just sit there, act on it. Make sure you follow or subscribe for more game-changing conversations, and remember, the only thing standing between you and your business breakthrough is the decision to screw it and just do it.